Hi, let's make a fun centerpiece this morning. I thought it would be great for us to make an arrangement with some fragrant hyacinths. I got some hyacinths the other day at my flower cellar, and I just love having them. I like a low arrangement of them, and I like it to be fragrant. I think that that's so fun because it's spring, and when we need it to be a springy fragrance in our house too. So I was at Dollar Tree. And thanks to Dollar Tree, too, they are an underwriter for season 3 of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom that's airing now on public television. So check that out as well. But I stopped there and I saw these chip bowls. It's just a plastic chip bowl, but it has a pattern in it. It looks like Waterford. And it matches a couple other things I have in the house that look like they're Waterford, too. They're not. And but I thought this would be a great way for us to do a low arrangement that could sit in the middle of a table. And so I wanted to show you a couple of tricks. I picked up a couple of bags of rocks there too. So my investment's $3. All right. So we're going to use our clear anchor tape. All right. And I love the clear anchor tape because it's clear. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to create a grid work across this bowl. So I'm using my knife to cut off the tape. We're going to leave kind of I'm not going to make this grid work too small. I want to have some space inside here in between these guys. So what I'm doing is I'm just running that down on there, and there's like a little lip on the outside of this. It works perfect for this. So this is great. What's this little guy doing? He's shaking back and forth at me. I'm just going to tighten him up a little bit because I need to do that. I like it to be tight. Okay, there we go. Oh, see, and then it drops down inside, and then who knows what's going to happen. There we go. Perfect, not a problem. Okay, nice and tight. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to go over here. So I like to remind you that when we're arranging flowers, we want to take our time. And we want to enjoy the process. And this process is great too because it's allowing me to prep a container and get it ready. I've got some other videos here on YouTube that you can watch about prepping containers too, which is just super helpful to people because it helps them get ready for flower arranging. And so typically what I say is get your favorite music, get your favorite beverage, get all situated and get all set up. I love this. People ask me about the anchor tape. You can get anchor tape at a florist, a professional florist will sell you anchor tape, or you can go to you can go online if you want to, but you also can use Scotch tape. Okay, that will work as well. And so just make sure that your container is clean. I rinsed this off just to make sure it was nice and clean. And then I started my grid work. And the thing about this grid work is it's invisible, right? Because I've used the clear tape. Or if I were to use the Scotch tape, it would be clear as well. So, and it's even difficult for you to see probably, and it's going to be hard for me to show it to you because it's clear. Got one more to do here. There we go. Okay. And then here's the secret. I am going to go around here on the edge. This is just one extra little bit of security I do to make sure this is going to hold securely. And I just run around it a couple times. Okay. And then I cut it off. I fold over the edge of this so the next time I go to grab it, it's right there and it's ready to go. So it isn't crazy to try and find the end. Okay, so now let's see. Let's see if you're going to be able to see that. Look, it's invisible. It's the invisible grid work. Perfect. I don't even know if I can you can kind of see it there, but yeah. Okay, so it's there. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to add our rocks. And yes, you probably could have added your rocks before. I like it, that it makes noise. I think that's fun. Okay. I like these rocks too because they're white, green, and blue mixed. I think it looks really great. And it just gives me a little color and a little reflective quality down inside my vase. Then I'm going to use my flower food water. This is Kreisel Professional 3 treated water that is in my watering can. Ta-da! So there we go. Now, this is a great way for short stemmed flowers. Hyacinths are kind of hard to work with because some people have challenges with them, especially if they grow in your yard too. They might be shorter. These are long because obviously they're hybrids that are bred for flower arranging. But sometimes you might only have a stem that's that long. And so this is a great project for that. I have hellebores out in the yard right now that are about this long. You might have daffodils. You might have other spring flowers that come up outside and you want to use short stem flowers. Maybe you have little roses in the summer with your rose bush and maybe they only have a stem that long. This is a great way to utilize those flowers. It's perfect. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our hyacinth and we're going to cut them. Now, the other challenge that some people have with hyacinth is sticking them into foam can be very, very hard because their stem is very tender and gentle and it's delicate. It's not going to go into foam as well. Although I had some hyacinth in foam that were absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it about there and I'm just kind of testing the waters here. Perfect. See how that goes in. It stabilizes it in the little rocks and then it holds it in place with the beautiful support from the clear anchor tape that we have in there. Okay, so see then again how he stands up, and it's key to use those little rocks because they're holding that stem down at the bottom. Okay, super important because without those, these might be flailing all over and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. See, that one's starting to do it already. So yeah, it's good. It's good for us to have those little rocks down inside there as a stabilizer. Not just decorative, useful. Love it. Okay. And so just look how pretty these are. Now, the great part about these hyacinth, when I got them, there was hardly any color at all. And so I put them in Kreisel Professional 3 for a day to allow them to open up. That's been 24 hours. They've started to open up. They're going to intensify their color. They're going to look great. And they're going to be beautiful in here. Now you can also put 2 in one grid together. They don't have to, they don't have to always go opposite. And sometimes if they're a little bit long, this one might be a little bit long. This is the enjoyment part. This is the relaxation part, the fun part that we're doing with our flowers. And again, now, okay, also here's an issue I had. I dropped one of the little blooms down inside here. That will get bacteria and everything very, very quickly. I'm actually going to use my compact pruner. Float him over here and get him in a spot where I can grab him like a tweezers. Okay, but I don't want that stuff hanging around in the water because if it's hanging around in the water, it's going to cause problems. Okay, and we don't need those problems. So now this is 10, but you know what? I mean, I'm still that kid from Atlanta, and I think, I need a little bit more. So I'm going to put in one more. Yeah, I am. Because I have them. Why not? Right? So there we go. Oh, look at it. And I love when this happens. Here's a little baby one. So that's an extra. And that's still going to develop. It's going to get beautiful in color because of my Kreisel Professional 3 that's in this water. Okay. I think I need one there. And I think I need one. Oh, another little baby. Look at that. He's really, really, really short. I'm going to put him in a little vase back here and for another project. I could have cut him longer, but that was my fault. So there we go. All right. So look at that. I love the way it looks. I'm going to put it on the turntable so we can spin it around. This is going to make it easier for me to arrange. And there we go. Everybody's just kind of, look at that, looks great. This is going to be such a beautiful, fragrant bouquet. So springy, so wonderful. And let's see, I'm going to use some of these. I'm going to go this way. We're going to use some orange and yellow tulips in here as well. And I'm also going to use a couple pieces of foliage. Let me grab a couple pieces of foliage and get those started in here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Xanadu again. I love this. It's like a little miniature monstera leaf. And I'm going to cut it so that it lays down in here and kind of extends across the top. This is going to give it great texture. Okay. A little bit long. Gonna shorten it up. And let me go in there, right there. Perfect. If I notice that some of these guys are popping up and getting out of the water, I'm gonna put them back down as I work with it so that that's an easy way to do it. Okay. There we go. Now, you know what? I'm going to change the camera angle for you because you guys are going to be able to appreciate this so much better if I do this. Look at that. Hey, way better, right? Okay. Looky, looky, looky. There we go. So now look at that. I love how that Xanadu, look at how pretty that looks. And I like to put hyacinth on top of them because I think that that's helpful. Kind of holds them in place and it just makes it prettier. Okay. Look at that. Oh, just loving it. Just loving it. Okay. So then we're going to add tulips. And you'll notice my tulips are smaller. So what you're going to see is I'm going to add these together in proximity. Look at how those are close to one another. I can use one separately by itself, but I can also place them next to one another. The other thing about these, now remember the one thing we want to remember about tulips is that they're going to grow, right? They're going to get phototropic. They're going to head towards the sun. They're going to get bigger. They're going to open. They're going to close. And because I have my Chrysal Professional 3 in the water, the blooms are going to get bigger and they're going to retain their color, and the green leaves are going to retain their green coloration as well. Okay? So now look at that. How pretty is that? It's just so springy, right? It's so darn springy. Really, really pretty. Okay, so then I think I need a couple pieces of foxtail fern. Okay? Wow, that was really close, wasn't it? That's very fun. We're going to use some foxtail fern. There it is. That'll be beautiful in there, right? And so there we go. We're going to use that. And what I can do with this, I'm going to cut it into two pieces. So I have two pieces like that. Okay, so you have two pieces that look like that. And then what I can do is I can slip that piece in there. I can pull the foliage off the bottom of the other piece so that it doesn't get nasty down inside the water. That's important. Placing those down in there like that. This down in there like that. Now look at this one. Look at that pretty one. Okay, it's got kind of, and you know what? I think this is a piece of springray. I don't think it's a piece of foxtail fern. They're relatives, myray and springray, both relatives. But I'm going to use this piece here, kind of extending out that way. And then we'll use this one over here. I think there's little thorns on it, so that would tell me that, yeah, it's probably springray. That's okay. What a treat. Thank you, friends at Ferntress, for that. Look at that. Looking good. Looking really good. So now here's a little bit of excitement for us. We're going to add some Clooney ranunculus. And the Clooney, C-L-O-N-I, refers to the variety of the bulbs. They don't have anything to do with George Clooney. Sorry. But, you know, maybe he wishes they did. I don't know. But we're going to just drop these down. And I'm cutting them short so that they kind of fall down in those in-between things. Really, really good looking. I like that some of them are green. Look at this one. Look at how that one's more green color. Isn't that pretty? And see how I'm just filling in? You know, if you are a little bit intimidated by arranging flowers, this one could be one of your, you know, this could be an attempt, one you could start with, because really it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. I mean, you know, it's okay, now let's put one of these here. That fits there. And let's put another one over here. That one fits there. And again, you're just creating this very dynamic centerpiece that's low and lush. The flowers are all together in one spot. We've got it in our lovely Waterford bowl from my friends at Dollar Tree. Waterford. Okay. Looks good. No one needs to know. Perfect. Really nice. And I'm just going to try and clean up a little bit of this foliage on the back side back here. Now, as we've talked before, I've got some really pretty colors in there, and they're intense and detail. So what I want to do now is I want to add something that's going to relieve a little bit of that texture. And that is going to be my chartreuse green spray chrysanthemums. Now look at my bouquet. Okay, look at my bouquet. And then look at when I do this. Look at how those colors get intense almost immediately. More pastel, more intense. More pastel, more intense. That's pretty cool. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to drop some of these down in between here. And again, I'm pulling off my leaves because I do not want these to, I got to find a hole there that's going to fit in. That's nice. And see, when I have other little pieces like this, little ones like this, I can just dot those in there. Okay? Just dot them down inside there. Take off the foliage. Okay? And so I can add them as a whole piece. So, you know, what I did was I'm going to take off 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I've got this other piece that looks like that. Okay, and I'm going to take off those pieces of foliage, and then I'm going to go right in here. See how that looks? One of these goes over here, another one goes over here, another one goes here. But notice as I'm adding that chartreuse green color, how it's making the rest of the arrangement, the colors look more intense. It's amazing, right? It really, truly is. That little simple technique can cause this to happen. I love it. Now here's this one, and let's see, I'm going to take off 1, 2, and then I've got another one that'll be a little bit longer, and that one that's a little bit longer can go right there, and then these two can kind of tuck down in there. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. That really added a lot to it, didn't it? I mean, I think that that's part of one of the things that we can learn is adding a little bit of that chartreuse green inside there is really helpful. Oh, I have one guy hanging out up here. Hello. Now, I think I want to add just a couple, that means 3 of these pretty little pastel pink hypericum, okay? Because again, it's going to add just a little bit more texture to it, and I think that that'll be lovely. And these I'm going to add as a whole piece because I don't want it to get too textural and crazy real fast. Look at that. Look at how good that looks in there. All right. Now, I mean, the thing about this, and I think it's kind of interesting, is you could just keep adding all day long. Oh, I'll put a little bit more in there. Oh, I'll grab a couple of hellebores and I'll put those down inside there. Oh, I'll grab a couple of these and put those down inside there. Oh, I'll add a carnation or 2. You know, if you want to do that, that's awesome. I mean, I think that that's great, is that, as I said, this arrangement is a pretty simple arrangement for you to execute with our little grid work. And the more flowers we tuck in there, the less likely things are to move around. I mean, okay, so say I wanted, let's just, for the sake of argument, because we can, let's add a couple of carnations down inside there too, you know? Bloop. Bloop. Look at, I hid this one underneath that one, underneath this right there. And then I see the last place where I need one right here. Ta-da! Now look at that. That's really lovely and just really pretty as a centerpiece on a table. I know that people always talk about, oh, you know, I want a centerpiece that is going to, you know, that everybody can talk over the top of. It's not going to be intrusive. It's not going to look like it. I'm going to use my Christ of Professional Glory because I'm working on my turntable, really super easy to spin it around. These are shorter stemmed flowers too. So what's really amazing about this is going to last longer too. We have a clear bowl below. Our bowl from our friends at Dollar Tree, we can see through it. Our rocks are down inside there. We can use the rocks in the bowl again. Once this is completed, we can tear off the grid work, wash it up the bowl, wash up the rocks, dry them off, save them for our next project, and do this again. We can do this for spring, summer, fall, winter. We can do it any time of year with shorter stemmed flowers. It's a great opportunity for us to do it. And I think, you know, just personally looking at that, I think we get 2 thumbs up, right? I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful little spring centerpiece that's fragrant and gorgeous. I hope you loved it. And until next time, keep having fun with flowers.